I think I can hear you.
I can hear you too.
Oh,
It's just pretty faint.
oh, really?
Yeah, you sound pretty distant. How am I sounding over there?
Perfect. I love your microphone.
Yeah, thanks.
Nice. What's up, dude?
Not much.
Oh, yeah. I have not heard from you in a long time. I mean, besides what we've
Yeah,
texted.
no, me neither.
I think the last time I saw you, was it when you came over for like the weekend and lived with Kyle and I? Or just,
Yep, that was the last time.
wow.
That was
Oh,
in person anyway.
yeah, right. Yeah, I don't think we had a formal goodbye.
No, I don't think we did.
No, because I don't remember. I remember saying goodbye to you, I think, when you were over. Uh, but yeah, I had no idea that that would have been the last time.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Well, in the last year and a half that I've been gone, a little bit over a year and a half that I've seen you, um, what's happened? What's changed for you?
Well, living situation. I'm still living with my parents right now. It'll be almost 3 years by the end of this year. I was going to try and this year I was hoping to try and move back to Grand Rapids and
Oh,
get back on board with my whole filming aspect of my life.
yeah.
But the pandemic kind of threw all that out of the water. And last month I came this close, like me and my buddies Dalton and Reese. We found a place together, and they talked about like moving in together, the three of us.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, and we found a place and everything, just like near Walker and everything. And we had it set to move in like by mid time this month. But the problem was after we had filled out all the paperwork and everything, like the landlady contacted us and was like, yeah, we like you guys, but we would like you to move in on July 13th. And like they were all for it, but me, like, I live all the way out here in Muskegon. I'd have to make like a trip back and forth like every half hour or so in one day just to move all my stuff. And plus like none of the theaters are open, so like I couldn't. There's no possibility of secure transfer to one of those locations. So I kind of I had no choice but to bow out.
Damn.
Yeah, I came this close, but actually it worked out pretty well for those guys. They found a 2 bed place. It's very nice. It's out in Kenwood, and it's closer near Christian Shire where he
Cool.
lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, the four of us we're trying to like write our own pilot right now, and Dalton actually just started up a production company like a month ago,
Ooh.
and yeah, we're all like board members and everything. We have uh, we have meetings on Discord and every now and again, and most of the time we just end up spiraling and talking about like bullshit or stuff like that. But but no, we do some serious discussions. We've been
Cool.
working on the pilot since last summer, I think it was, or last fall, and yeah, like anything else that comes up or any business related stuff.
That's awesome, dude. So, what are you guys going to tackle? Your production company, is this going to be for weddings, for businesses, for what's your goal?
Well, our main goal is just to, like mainly just to get our content out there, just like short films and stuff, and like I said, our series pilot. Um, but we actually do have a first project in mind, actually, and this is right after Dalton and Reese found something on YouTube. It was like a touring video for Grand Rapids, but it was not a flattering video, and like it said in 4K. They made a whole rant about this video. After they watched it, they made a whole rant video discussing it, and it's pretty funny.
Oh.
It was like they tackled issues like, you said your video is in 4K, but there are so many like framing problems and stuff like this. This is 720 at best. And the company or the team or whatever who made the video is it was Miami Aerial Media.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, they're not even from Michigan, they're from Florida.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a project that we're actually going to do, try and actually make a tourist video for Grand Rapids that actually highlights the city and that different stuff. And yeah, I'm hoping I'm pretty excited to tackle that, because when they showed me the video last time we met in person at their new apartment. We just like watched the video, and they did highlight some stuff like the Voss Place and John Ball Zoo and some of the parks and stuff, but they barely went in depth with some of it, and it was like most of it just like in mentioning. And like Dalton and I were talking, DeVos Place, that's where they host Comic-Con, and that's where they host a lot of like other big stuff. That could be like a whole separate video about DeVos Place. And when we got to John Ball Zoo, like Dalton looks right at me and he's like, Mark, that's your thing. You could do a whole video talking about John Ball Zoo.
Seriously. Yeah. I almost worked at John Ball Zoo. I almost got a job there, but they didn't hire me. And I did work at DeVos Place for like 2 months.
Really?
My last 2 months in Michigan, I was at DeVos Place 4 or 5 times a week. And I would set up the events. I would set up things like Comic-Con. It wouldn't be exactly Comic-Con. But I would set up wedding showers and car shows and all that stuff. There's so many events that if you were to go to DeVos Place and like film something, you'd probably get some incredible footage. I think DeVos Place deserves a video of its own. It'd be hard to go in depth into that place if you're just doing Grand Rapids. There's also places like Dr. Grin's, dude. Places that do stand-up comedy. If you were to like go and offer your services as just the videographer to film each comedian or each show and make a video for things like that, that's what I'm trying to do here in Salem. I can show you, I just made a video for Limeberry, which is frozen yogurt. My mom works there. The owner used to be my youth pastor. And I just got done with this video, and he's paying me pretty nicely for it, too. It's their 1-year anniversary video, and I got a lot of help from family and friends. Got some drone footage and all that stuff. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah. And you have a camera. You have editing equipment, right?
Yeah, I still have I haven't done as much editing as I would have liked, but I still have my camcorder, and that's about it for me. But like Christian, he's a part of our Christian Shire. He's a part of our like little band as well. He actually got a really nice Nikon camera.
Nice. Sweet. So that'll be your main camera to use?
Yeah, we're looking to use that camera.
Nice. Plus, you got so many people in Grand Rapids who are bound to have cameras, you know?
Oh, yeah. Well, with it being a very artsy city.
Yeah. Dylan Sauber has some nice cameras. Dylan just found a 2-bedroom apartment that he's living in by himself right now. Yeah. I was jealous because that's like exactly what I've been looking for, is like a 2-bedroom or even a 1-bedroom, but just my own space. No roommates. I just want my own space and freedom to be creative and not be bothered, not be stifled. I'm really searching for that right now. So
Yeah, amen to that. That's my ideal thing for when I move back to, if and when I move back to Grand Rapids. Ideally, I would like to find just like a studio apartment or something like that. Something that's like within a $600 range.
yep.
And then I would just have my own space. I could just like turn on the TV whenever I want. I could chime into. I could just sit there on my laptop in peace and quiet, and I could sit down, like draw or do anything like that. Just my space,
Yeah.
mine.
Yep. I love that.
Because yeah, it's really like sure, my parents let me live here like rent free, but still, it's like I have no privacy and no freedom here most of the days. And especially since I still babysit my brother's daughter on occasion, and what with the pandemic and everything, I've been living with my mom because she works at the school, and she hasn't exactly been the most bearable person to live with.
That's unfortunate to hear.
Yep.
You and I lived together for 7 months.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost half a year.
I know, a little bit. Yeah. It's a blur to me, that time.
Really?
Yeah, it's a blur. I was not doing well personally during that time, living with you and Marisol. I spent a lot of time in my room. I remember bits and pieces, and then we all got kicked out.
Yeah, because the place downstairs, whoever bought it like wanted to turn it into a massage place, and then they took our space.
Yeah, pissed me off. That's one of my favorite places that I've ever lived.
Yeah, and it was really nice too, because all of us had our own room, and we even had our own to an extent private bathroom. I had to share a shower with Marisol, but then there was that little half bathroom that I could just walk in and brush my teeth and use the toilet if I had to.
So nice, dude. Yeah, it was a year and a half that I lived there, and I love the back porch. I wish I would have spent more time out there, but I did. We did make videos, and we would have parties and be on the back deck playing music, smoking or drinking. Yeah, that was just. I was so blessed to have that place, and it was only like $275 split. That was each person had to pay that, but so cheap.
Right.
And then I went to live with the Propers. I lived with the Propers.
Right.
Yeah, right after, and that was like $285 a month. It was nothing. And then I moved to Chicago, and it's interesting. The last place that I have paid to live in long term was the Propers house in 2017 when I left. And then I moved to Chicago. Then I moved in with Brandon. Then I moved in with Kiowa. Now I moved in with my parents. And it's hard to conduct myself when I consider myself somewhat homeless.
Right.
I don't pay for. I don't pay rent, and that's a blessing. But it's also when I don't pay in rent, I pay for in other ways of not having privacy or having to live under my parents' house again. And yeah, I'm just tired of it.
Yeah, I'd be tired of it too. The
Yeah.
last place, because after we were kicked out of that place, the last place I lived at was with Paul Rice and Chris Mack, and that was a fun year to live with them. And then
Yeah.
after that, I was still in that place for my last year of college, and that was when Reese and I first lived together.
Okay.
And after Paul and Chris left, Chris went back to Detroit, I think, and Paul made his way out to LA. Yeah, like after that, it was just me and Reese, and it was only like about 360 between us. And yeah, my folks helped me out with the rent, but the neighborhood was less than pristine, but it was a nice little place. And Reese and I we kept to ourselves mostly, but we had occasions where we like sat down and would just turn on something on my TV, and we would watch that. Like Reese really got me into. Reese is the one who introduced me to that anime, My Hero Academia, and then he also introduced me to BoJack Horseman on Netflix.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I also introduced him to one of my favorite anime, Code Geass. We watched only the first season, and then he saw the second season like shortly after we moved out and left went our separate ways after graduation. And then we also I even asked if he wanted to watch the movie Seven with me. That was the second time I saw that movie, and yeah, we sat down and watched that, and we watched a couple other movies like School of Rock, I remember was one of them, and Jason and the Argonauts.
I don't think I know that one.
It was a Ray Harryhausen movie. It was you know, the guy who made all the stop motion monsters like back in the 60s.
Sure.
Tommy G showed us a video in the new animation class that started up in my senior year. We worked with like 3D models and stuff on something called Maya, provided by Autodesk. And that was pretty fun. It was very time consuming. I remember my final project, like one day, I think I must have spent like 5 hours at least trying to work on my 3D model. And I remember by the time I was getting finished, it was like dark outside. I'm just like, where did the time go?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fun class, and it was fun to have Tom teach us. And this was his first time doing it, and so it was like he was learning along with us. It was so fun.
Yeah, I'm sure that provided for some fun in the class. That's really cool.
Yeah, there was a. I remember one day. Do you remember Gary Bosek?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, he came in for like 1 year and then was gone.
Yeah.
There was one day where the whole class unanimously, we were just looking at some of his. Somebody was just looking at like Gary's videos, one of them, and then we ended up watching another, and then we watched another, and then all of us together as a class just started like looking at his videos and just like talking trash about him. This was a class effort.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so much fun.
That's funny. I couldn't stand that guy. He was
Yeah,
weird.
I didn't have too much problems with him. I'm pretty pretty mild mannered around most people, but I do remember like one time I asked him for like help and stuff, and I remember he was a real stickler about like audio and stuff.
Yeah. He was weird. Like one time he came up to me and his phone in his hand. He goes, hey, Collin, you want to step into this room and do some improv? We can film it on my phone. And I tried to think of every excuse possible to not step in that room with him. I was just like, you want to like hold the phone and like improvise something? Sorry, no. And he left before the summer semester was even done.
Yeah. Yeah, like the story was he got like he said he found like a better job or something I heard. And yeah, like so he left that he was like, yeah, I'm going to get this better job. And then from what I heard, like he was like fired or he quit like about a week after, and it was all because like he went down there and realized he had to do actual work, and then was like kicked out.
Whoa.
At least that's what I heard.
Part of me is curious as to what he's been up to since.
Yeah, you kind of wonder what people like that are up to these days.
Yeah. What's your connection to Compass right now? Do you have any? Have you ever been reached out to, or like, hey, here's a job, try this out, or?
Actually, last year in the summertime, like I reached out to Liz a couple of times, and she actually hooked me up with a like this was actually in August, so exactly a year ago today or so. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, she hooked me up with this producer woman named Nancy, and they were looking for PAs for like a 6-day film shoot or whatever. Like in it was mostly in Whitehall, but there was one location that was like in North Muskegon, place I went to before, the Bear Lake Tavern.
Sure.
And yep, and the film was called Lost Heart, and they've actually the group that posted it or whatever like has posted trailers on it, and I even got an email about it about like a crew screening for it like sometime in October. But yeah, it was a fun film shoot to like work on, and it was actually like my first professional film set outside of Compass and all that. And like when I got in there, like I'm just, oh my goodness, I am so underdressed. Like, I'm like, I never felt out of my element, but yeah, I actually warmed up pretty well to some of the people in the crew. I made some friends on Facebook and made some connections on LinkedIn, and it was a great crew to work with. And after I had done like my 6-day or whatever, 6-day of filming, they asked if I could jump on for like one more day, and yeah, I was on there for like one more day, just for like one quick little day shoot, and yeah, it was a really fun 7 days. Like, of course, I had my job, and that week I couldn't request time off, and so there were a couple of days where I had to like leave the set early and go all the way back to like Muskegon and all that, because we were filming in Whitehall. And it also really helped me because like I had just gotten my driver's license like less than a month ago.
Whoa.
Before the film set. Yeah, and it really helped me because like it really helps with like highway driving and getting comfortable with that, like driving on the expressway and all that. And yeah, it was a great experience.
I didn't know you got your driver's license. Good for you, dude.
Yeah, I got it last summer, and my car I got, I had it was my cover photo for a while on Facebook, but yeah, it's my brother's old red Impala, Chevy Impala.
I have an Impala. Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like when they first touched on it, like before it was passed down to me, it was kind of the tires were flattened because of the packing of snow on the roof and all that from the winter, and it needed a jump. And my dad put in he put in some money to like get it fixed up and everything, and there's still a couple of things wrong with it, but it's a nice car. Like when I first got it, I'm like, this is not a bad car for a hand-me-down.
Yeah. Do you know the year?
2009.
Dude, hell yeah. Mine's a 10. That's cool. Yeah. I just got mine in October. On Halloween, I got it. Halloween.
Cool.
The person I bought it from had just gotten her second DUI and was going to jail. I could use the car and she could use the money.
Well, it was a perfect trade-off. It was a perfect trade.
Yeah. And I'm so happy you found something too. So, yeah, dude, like seeing you always have to get rides and stuff, that is really cool to know that you have your own liberation to go do film stuff. That's awesome, dude.
Oh yeah, the first couple of weeks I got my license, like I had never felt more free in those moments when I was like out on the road and all that.
Yeah. When I first got my license, I took a friend of mine home, and then her getting out of the car, this was my first time ever driving by myself. So I remember I didn't know Salem very well, and I'm like screaming like, yeah, hell yeah, because I was like so pumped up to be driving by myself, and Siri said something like, hey, turn right. And I turned left. As I turned left and then straightened out, I see 4 sets of headlights coming at me. I had turned left on a one-way because I was like so pumped up, so I had to like turn over, let them pass, and pull a Huey or a Michigan left, and that was like the first time because I freaked out. I was like, shit, when I made that wrong turn. But have you had any scary? Has there any been? Let me start that again. Has there been any like incidences that have come close to you getting in a crash or anything?
Not really. There were a couple of close calls, I'll admit. Like there was like one just recently, not that long ago. It was kind of I just went out one afternoon to get out of the house and everything. My niece was over as usual, and like she and my mom were just like kind of driving me crazy. So I had to get out, and so I went down to Hoffmaster and just kind of laid out in the sun for a couple of hours on the shore, and then I was driving back home or whatever. I was gonna go stop at Fazoli's, but like as I was driving on South Getty Street, that's one of the roads that leads over to East Sherman Boulevard, and I was turning right like at a 4-way light, and as I was apparently I drove over like the curve or whatever, like the curve on the side of the road or whatever. Oh wait, this was back. This was as I was turning on South Yeti, and then after that, like I got a little pissed off, and then just kept driving like forward and everything. And as I was approaching like the 4-way to Sherman Boulevard and whatnot, there was like this little there was kind of like this little pothole with one of those construction pylons or whatever, and I was kind of like veering to the side a little bit to try and give this car some leeway or whatever. And like as I was like going back into my little spot, like I drove over the pothole, and it made like one of those boom sounds. Ooh. And I'm just like, what the fuck, man? And then I'm just I turned, and it's like an easygoing drive, but then I come up toward the ramp, and like I'm behind this white car or whatever, and like as the light turns green, I'm getting ready to go, and I'm just easily like letting my speed go up, and then all of a sudden this car just like kind of stops in front of me, and like I noticed some people like walking along on the side of the hill or whatever, like 3 or 4 people, and I look over for just a second to see what they were doing there, and I'm like, why are those people there? And then I slammed on the brake, and I'm just like, fuck, man, why did you just stop in front of me? Are you like gawing at those people over there? Get moving.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the life of me, for as long as I've driven, I have never honked the horn at anybody. And there have been a couple of times that have warranted a horn honk, but that's never happened. The only time I've ever honked my horn was to get my dog out of the way when I'm coming in the driveway.
Some people, it's not their instinct to hit the horn, even though they probably should.
Yeah.
Yeah. I use my horn quite a bit.
Yeah, I remember the car you had when you and I were living together. The horn was broken, so you couldn't honk it.
No. It's dangerous. I think it's actually illegal to not have a horn that works. Because I use my horn all the time here. I use it on the freeway. I use it if I'm going down and I'm in the right lane and there's somebody that I can tell is going to turn in front of me. I honk before they even have the chance to make that turn. Because I'm like, hey, dude, like, I'm right here. And I'm going a lot faster than you think I am. Or whatever. Because some people... I've gotten some really close calls and some unfortunate road rage incidents, but they're not incidents. Like, we don't crash or anything. I've never even gotten a speeding ticket in my life. Never. My record is clean.
Cool. That's something we have in common.
I'm somewhat of a maniac. I've calmed down a lot, though. I really have. I'm a safe driver for the most part because my car, like, if I want this car to last me, it's a nice car. I really like it. If I want it to last me, I have to be nice to it. I have to treat it nicely. I can't just, like, gun it, rev the engine, zoom in and out. It's just not meant for that. But it does have some get up and go. It can move pretty fast.
Yeah, so just treat it like your woman, basically.
Yeah, exactly. I need to keep up on the fluids a lot more. I haven't checked the oil and antifreeze in probably a month. I probably need to do that soon. What about you? Do you keep up with the upkeep of the car?
Well, just one look at me, you can probably tell I'm not a person who knows a whole lot about cars. And like, I admit I don't know squat about cars. Last time I got a oil change was about back in June or early July. Yeah. It was around that time. And yeah, and like sorry, I'm blanking. But yeah, there was like this one little problem that I had with my car. Like it was kind of like an AC thing. The AC worked fine, but like whenever I would get into my car,
it clicks. Does it click?
It wasn't exactly kind of like it wasn't really a click. It was kind of like this weird little vibrating sound, and I could hear it like on the passenger side of the dash.
Yeah.
And I took it to my uncle's garage, and he's a whiz with cars, and he told me like it was just like this little wire like kind of behind the glove compartment that. Yeah, it was just like this little wire or whatever, and all he had to do was just, it was loose, so all he had to do was just jimmy it back in place, and then I haven't had that noise come back. And then, yeah, and he told me, like, if that ever happens again, like, he can just order a new wire, and, like, it's only, like, $8 or something to replace it. But, yeah, and, but, yeah, that's, like, yeah, that just that was just like a minor problem. I haven't really had like any. I've been fortunate enough to have like no problems with fuel and stuff.
Good.
The only, I'd say the only problem with me is like the sensor on the car is broken, so it's always stuck in service tire monitor system. Like, check your tire pressure or your tires need air. Or that little light.
Yep.
It's always on. And
You're singing my song. I have this on the passenger side. If I get in the car or if I change the air, there's this tack, 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 that starts happening for like 2 minutes, and then it'll just stop.
Huh.
And I have a constant air pressure tire light that is on. And my ABS light always comes on too, like the automatic brake system. But that piece in the passenger side, it might be that wire. I've looked it up online, and for some reason in Chevy Impalas, that piece always goes out. There's forums saying, yeah, I have a 2016, I have a 2013, 12, and that piece breaks. So it's really interesting that yours did too, because mine is doing that right now. Maybe I should check that wire. Was it inside the glove department or like underneath it?
It was like he had to remove something from like the back of the glove compartment. He just had to take that piece out or like tip it down, and it's like it should be like right behind the glove box.
So like in the hood. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Nice.
Yeah, when it was first happening and it like went on for almost a month, when I first thought of it, I looked it up and it says like sometimes problems like that are usually like a coolant thing.
Yeah.
And I asked my brother, I asked my friend Dalton, and they both looked at like the coolant, and coolant was fine. And I even asked the people like who gave me the oil change. I asked if anything was like wrong, and they couldn't tell me. And then when I finally got it to my uncle's, he told me it was that little wire.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you figured it out.
Yeah, and it was like nerve wracking. The noise would go away when I turned on the AC, but like when I turned it off and when I turned the engine off, it would just like go.
Wow. That's so weird.
You know.
Okay, so changing gears a little bit, what was your first impression of me? Or what's your earliest memory with me?
Actually, the first memory, I actually remember this very well. It was freshman year of college, and when we all started at Compass or whatnot, and it was that night when we crossed paths in Steak and Shake. Me and Avery. Yeah, we were just going out, and then we ran into you and Tristan, and we're just like, hey man, let's get a table together.
That's so funny. I remember that very well.
Yeah, and then we went to My and Buzz Cafe after that.
Yeah, that's great.
That was a fun evening.
Yeah, early in Compass, couple first weeks had to.
Yes, this was like right after our introductions in Creative Com or whatever, and all that stuff.
I remember hearing about your introduction to yourself that you gave.
Yeah, I remember my introduction pretty well too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got up in there, and one of the first things I said was, "Do I think I have what it takes?" Well, I don't. I was brutally honest.
Didn't you say something like, "There's elephant shit," and then me?
Yeah, there was something like that.
It's so sad, dude. think Johnny got up and gave you a hug or did something to that effect.
I think so. Yeah, I remember after that, like Jake DeLotte was one of the first people to approach me, and like he was just like, in his DeLotte-ness, he was just like, yeah, hey man, you're cool, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think I heard about that because Johnny told me. Johnny was like, dude, there's this kid in my class. There's this kid in my class who gave this speech, and he was like calling himself lower than dog or elephant shit, and it just like hearing it secondhand, I was like, oh wow, that's really unfortunate. I can somewhat relate to that way of thinking. I don't think I'm that hard on myself, but because I definitely have issues of pride. Like, I think I'm the best in this way, like comedy. I don't think I'm the best, but I think I have a pretty good head on my shoulders when it comes to comedic timing. There's a lot of people who don't like my comedy either, which, you know, to each his own. I don't hold it against them because there's a lot of people I don't like their comedy. But I have issues of pride with thinking that I really do have this skill here, possibly even more than I really actually do. But do you have any issues of pride there? Like, okay, if you're thinking about yourself, you got pros and cons, some stuff you hate about yourself, whatever. But then is there anything that you really latch onto? Like, this is my identity. This I am proud of.
I would say the one thing that I latch onto is it would have to be my imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I like being creative, and you know, just like coming up with new things every time, even if it's like fan fiction or something, like something I spin into my own little way. Like, I just love coming up with stuff, and
Yeah.
and I'm still trying to do that. Like last summer, I came up with a couple of ideas on standby, and I would like to explore more of them. But like I said, no privacy, no freedom here,
Right.
and this pandemic hasn't really helped out much. And like lately, for about the past few weeks or so, like sometimes if every time I get up, like excuse me, just carbonation. But yeah, lately, the past few weeks, like when I get up, like it's just I get up, I eat, I sometimes shower, I sit on the couch and turn on the TV or just turn on my laptop. Like I'll try and squeeze in a movie or two, or squeeze in a video game on Xbox One, but it's like that's just my routine, and like this, it's like my spark is gone, and it makes me kind of sad, and I kick myself sometimes.
I've been there. I know what that's like. I don't think it's a bad place to be. Because, okay, like right now, I'm really busy with making content. I'm making personal content. I'm doing videos for businesses. I'm doing Pipe Reel Studios right now with 2 film partners, and then I'm doing the Salem Roundtable. So I have a lot going on, and I've noticed just an overall brightness about myself in the past couple of months since I've in this pandemic. I feel like I've redirected kind of my path and really started to heavily pursue film more than I ever have before. Or at least do it correctly now. I'm figuring out how to do it for myself and make money for myself. In the past week, I've acquired $150 just off of TikTok views. I mean, that is so cool. if I can do $150 a week off of TikTok, dude, like, that would be so exciting. And I have this podcast. So all that to say that I really encourage you to break that routine piece by piece and not do it all at once, but like, because I remember reading some of your scripts. I know that you can write, and I hope that you find time in your routine to write and sit there even for longer than you had anticipated. If you do it for 2 minutes longer than you had originally planned, you might find yourself doing more creative things as you go on. So, yeah.
I know most people will usually scoff at this, but a couple of people I've spoken to are like, that's fine. Like the one creative thing I was kind of doing, like even as this whole quarantine thing started, like I was doing Pokemon fan fiction, and it was just like a little thing for fun that I did like last year in the winter in February. Like I basically invented my own region or whatever, and kind of tried to build my own story, kind of like that whole Pokemon formula or whatever. And yeah, it was a little fun activity to do, and I recently like revisited it, like revamped the Pokedex or whatever, and I'm trying to write the outline of the story right now, and I've gotten a little bit through it, but yeah, it's just like it's just a fun little thing to do, and like it's for me. So
Yep. Yeah, totally. The art needs to be for you first, but through that you will find a tribe. You will find people who love Pokemon and love the broad storytelling. I think there's a person for literally, there's the sky is the limit when it comes to a creative niche, a little pocket that you can find. And I hope that you do. I hope that you find that. Do you do any Twitch live streaming your games or anything?
no, I did consider doing something like that, but I didn't buy like any of the materials or the software that you would need for that. Like but that is something I do kind of consider. And one of the first things I did want to do when I moved back with my folks' house, like just swallowing my bacon there, but yeah, one of the first things I wanted to do when I got back here, I really tried to like just devote most of my free time like at home to myself.
Sure.
And then by the time the fall came, like I had to babysit my niece and whatever, and that kind of like just mostly got in the way of that a little bit. But one of the things I really wanted to do, I wanted to like make my own like YouTube videos. I have an account on YouTube, but the best I could do was just like one little video, and it's not the greatest, I admit, but it was just like a little video, just me talking about one of my favorite video games at that time, and just like my thoughts and predictions on what we could see for like downloadable content or future content for that game in the future.
Yeah.
And it's still on my account or whatever, but like but yeah, that was the only video I ever made, and I would have liked to have tried to find time to do more. Like just I had ideas for top 10 videos that I wanted to do. Like I even had an idea for what's that?
Watch Mojo. I know that you're really into Watch Mojo.
Yeah, like kind of like those guys, like what they do, their top 10 videos and stuff like that. Yeah, that was one thing I wanted to do. I had an idea for fan cast videos, and I even had like I I even had an idea for another show that Reese introduced me to. It's called Dragon Prince. It's on Netflix.
Oh.
It's a show created by Aaron Ahaz, the same guy he was the head writer on Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why. And they just recently released their third season, like last year in November. Yes, November. And they've recently been like renewed for season 4. So that's really exciting.
Cool.
Like, it's 3D animation, but in the first season, the weird thing was it looks a little choppy, like when the characters move and stuff, because it's shot at like 8 frames per second.
Yeah.
And then season 2, they bumped it up to 10 frames per second, but even then it was still a little choppy. And then season 3, like it all looks a little more fluid now. But yeah, animation aside, the story and the world building is like one of my favorite aspects of it. Like the world building, it's almost your typical fantasy world, but like it's kind of the world is very attuned with magic, and like there's elves and dragons, and there's this whole this whole conflict between humans and elves, and dragons are kind of like in the middle of it, and they're basically the most powerful.
Okay.
And I had an idea to do like a kind of a little lore series video about Dragon Prince, kind of in the same style of like Shoddy Cast, who did a couple of like lore videos for Dragon Age, one of my favorite video games, and they even did one for The Witcher, Wild Hunt.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That reminds me of like Nerd Writer. Like that's content that you could make that wouldn't require a video camera. You wouldn't have to be on camera. That would just be like splices of footage. And I know that you can edit too, and then do a little voiceover with your microphone. Bada bing, bada boom. You got content right there.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I bought this microphone, and
cool.
It's a nice microphone too.
I'm looking for a microphone. I need one.
But like the sad thing is, I hardly get to use it because like I said, I just keep getting stuff piled up on me, and like I can't find the time to just sit down and record these videos or like hash out these ideas.
Yeah, you should. I highly encourage you to. I think Mark Olsen needs to make content, dude. For real. Even if you were to like, you could set up in the corner of your room with some lights and just leave say a Lego set and make a stop motion and do all these different voices and sound effects. Even with your voice, like you have the ability to change your voice. I remember that about you. Yeah, dude, I'm trying to rack my brain just to give, I want your spark back. I want you to have your spark back.
Right.
Because it's such an incredible place to be. When I'm creatively flowing, I feel like I'm a very content, loving, happy, generous person. But when my creativity is stifled, I'm a low, grumbly, don't fucking talk to me type of person too.
Right.
I have high highs and low lows, and I'm sure as a creative person you can relate to that too.
Oh yes.
Prone to loneliness, prone to depression, prone to procrastination.
Oh yes, very heavily on procrastination actually.
Yeah. But I think you'll surprise yourself that first time that you actually go into new creative territory. It'll be like a winter wonderland, Right. One thing about you that I think you should be proud of too is your memory, dude. Your memory is excellent. With memorizing, you can listen to one movie scene and just be able to quote the whole thing afterwards. It's crazy. Especially the ones that you've studied just from watching over and over. But you have an absolutely incredible memory, and one thing that I would like to talk about is your Asperger's, because that's something that I also relate to, and having been tested. And as I'm growing older, I'm almost seeing those traits that the doctor described to me as being traits of or traces of Asperger's, as opposed to direct. Like, I don't really know how it works, but like even Robin Williams and Tom Hanks supposedly have Asperger's. And do you find yourself, like when you said that you were able to open up with people on a film set, do you find yourself being treated a different way by certain people who might not know you have Asperger's, or if they do find out, they suddenly treat you differently, or is it really not a factor in your life?
Well, I know one thing I don't do. I don't go up to every person and say, "Hi there, I have Asperger's."
Yeah.
Like, what kind of person does that on a normal basis? Yeah.
I wish you did. That would be so fucking funny to me. Hi, I have Asperger's.
It's like just somebody coming up to you out of the blue and being like, "Hey there, are you single?
Yeah.
Are you gay?
Yeah.
Goodbye."
Yeah.
Okay, goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah, nice to meet you.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, the people I've kind of like met, some of the new people I've interacted with over the years, like I don't I tend not to. I've actually haven't mentioned the fact that I have Asperger's to a lot of people, but if it's somebody I trust, I would kind of just like low key let them know. I think one of the last people I spoke to, it was a coworker, and we were just having a casual conversation before I went off to go do stuff.
Sure.
And I kind of I just kind of mentioned to her, just it was just I don't even remember what the conversation was about, but it was kind of something about anti-socialing or something like that, or something like that. Like I said, I don't remember, but I brought up I have Asperger's, so I'm technically on the spectrum, and the autistic spectrum, but yeah, it was just it was just kind of I have this thing, and she's just like, yeah, okay, I understand. And I wasn't treated any different the last couple of times I spoke to her. She's just kind of she's a casual person, so I'm just kind of it's just like a casual conversation every now and again, just a few words of exchange.
Cool. Good. I think I don't consider it to be part of the spectrum. I don't. I think Asperger's and autism are two different things. Autism I consider to be the spectrum, and Asperger's is in its own pocket for me. I think it's I don't really know how to describe it, but you're fully functioning. Obviously, we can sit here and have this conversation, and you can be totally perceptive and aware of my body language and emotions. You have a heightened awareness that even a normal person wouldn't have, and especially a person with autism would definitely not have.
Right.
From what we can tell, they can't be emotionally connecting with someone in a they can. Yes, they can, but they can't in a traditional sense. It would be more through physical touch, through well-known phrases. Like a person with autism, if you change their setting or routine even slightly, they Rain Man. They get wigged out. but I never sensed that from you. I sensed you could ebb and flow and go from film set to film set, or even to a new friend's house and be Mark Olsen, you know.
Yeah, and I've definitely over like the last couple of years, I've definitely tried to step out of my comfort zone. Like the people I work with, I work at a Celebration Cinema, and right now I'm working at the drive-in right now until we get the theaters open, and
Mm.
there's a high hope that they open up soon. But yeah, like before all this craziness happened, like the people that I work with, they'll occasionally have like little after work parties or whatever, like late at night, because that's usually when some of the other people get off. Like some people, they don't get off of work until like 10 p.m. at night, or like 9 p.m., 10 p.m. And me being projection, like working in projection, like some nights I wouldn't get off until when the last showing is over. So that would have been like between midnight and 1 a.m. some nights. But yeah, occasionally, like I was saying, these people, they usually have like after work parties, and that's just like it's just like drinking games and sitting down,
Yeah.
conversation and all that. I've tried to be a little bit more open to that, but it wasn't until like September. It was about I was hired in April, so it was about a good 5-6 months until I felt comfortable enough around these people to like feel like I could go to a party with, like, go to their parties and stuff.
And
And
they had invited you before that, before you were ready. They had invited you.
not exactly, like nobody would ever come up to me and say like, "Hey, we're having this party or whatever." And they had like a Facebook group or something, but I wasn't a part of that. I was just a part of the one Facebook group, the one where you would just chime on, and you'd be like, "Hey, I need somebody to cover this shift." Okay, I'll do it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And but yeah, like the first party I went to, it was somebody was having a birthday party, and it was at somebody who worked there at the time. Like her house was like right next to the theater. Occasionally, there's like this little side parking lot next to this chain link fence, which is kind of boarded up a little bit. But on the other side of that fence, there's houses and stuff like that. And one person, her house is directly next to the cinema parking lot.
Oh.
And yeah, so it was just like a little hop, skip, and a stroll from the cinema over to that party, and it was pretty fun. Like everybody just kind of sat around and conversated over at the fire, and people played beer pong, and yeah, and then there were there were a couple other parties after that. And like this one person had like he and another person who worked in a kitchen, they rented this house for like a few months from like subleased it from these people who own this little house on the lake, like somewhere up in North Muskegon. And they would have they had a few parties there before the whole pandemic thing happened. And first time I went there, it was around Halloween, and I really got to see like the crazy side of some of my employees. Yeah, and but yeah, it was pretty fun. And one of the weird things about that house, like it had a narrow staircase. Like the stairs were almost kind of like on a slant, so it felt a little treacherous when walking up.
Whoa.
I think somebody might have fallen down like at the base of those stairs or something, but I think somebody. What's that?
During the party?
This might have been another occasion, but I think at least once somebody fell. But that was a pretty treacherous staircase.
That's funny. Well, I'm glad that you're able to do that and make friends with coworkers. That's not always the case. I've had jobs where it's not even an interest of me and a coworker to hang out. But I have hung out with coworkers for sure. I've gone on long tubing, down the river with coworkers and stuff. That's always fun. Yeah, that's cool. But I think I'll probably let you go, bro. I appreciate you doing this podcast with me, and I seriously wish you luck in your creative endeavors. I really hope that you pick up new hobbies when it comes to being creative.
Mm-hmm.
I really do, and yeah, I love you, bro, and I wish you the best of luck with the end of this year and going into next year.
Definitely.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it was great to see you again. Great to hear your voice again too.
Yeah, I know. It's been too long.
Yeah, the only last couple of times we've spoken were just like Facebook messaging, and it's good to see your face and hear your voice, and have a conversation that's not like through your keyboard.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I will have this. I'm not sure if I'll get to it tonight. I'm kind of busy tonight, but over the weekend I will have this uploaded and I'll send it to you for sure.
Awesome.
Sweet, dude. Yeah, man. Good talking to you.
Yeah, good talking to you too. All right.
Stay in touch, bro.
I definitely will. All right. Later, Collin.
Peace, bro.